It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeyes Louisiana.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. Nielsen and Gazzola with you in the Boston Pizza on Y Road, another on-location broadcast. This time we did it in the evening as opposed to the noon hour, and first ever real live Oilers oil stream in the evening, which is... It's very
weird,
unique,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's very unique.
The sun is setting. They've got the shades down because we're west facing here at BP's Y Road in Sherwood Park. Matthew Wannick's here. People are casually dining. The VL's in the back corner.
I see there's the one-armed bandits are calling my name.
Oh, no. And then maybe a social sparkler libation or two while we do this show today.
It is, well, yeah, because it's the evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's big thanks once again to Tara and the whole crew at Boston Pizza and the crew out here in Sherwood Park for having us out here for a live episode of The Oil Stream. We've got lots to get to, obviously. I think when you got here, didn't you say, I'm hungry?
I'm starving.
You're starving?
Yeah.
What are you going with today? What do you think?
Oh, I have to switch it up. Connor Halley wants me to get a brute in his honor. I might do it.
Brutes are good, man.
I know,
I'm not going to
they're
lie.
really good. They're
Can you
old.
take down the full brute, though, or just go half brute? Because you can go half brute for a more reasonable price.
I don't go half-ass
No,
on anything,
I was gonna say,
all brute.
I don't even know why I said that. I've been eating full brute since I was 11.
Right.
Like it doesn't make any sense.
There's a guy who's taller than you in here.
That's a manager.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. I looked eye to eye. I thought we were gonna have a duel or something. It
No.
was wild.
Two big dudes.
All right. As always, the Oil Stream is brought to you by our great partners at Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, now open at West Edmonton Mall. If you want to get your hands on a delicious Popeyes chicken sandwich, you can certainly do that. Tons of locations actually now, closing in like 24 locations. Absolutely ridiculous. So huge shout out to Popeyes for being presenting sponsor over the last couple of years. Like I said, we were out here in Boston Pizza in Sherwood Park, and we got lots to get to. Let's start with this. We'll get to the homestand in a second. We'll play a fun game of who's going to score first. We'll get to that coming up as well.
Okay.
Inside the numbers, we'll look at the Oilers among the league leaders in turnovers. I think they got to kind of look after the puck a little bit better as they head on the road trip.
Seems about right.
But not a busy report from practice today, but you were down there. What happened at practice?
Yeah, there was so many people on the ice, like more coaches than players. Actually, there was 5 skaters, 5 coaches, and Stuart Skinner. The skaters were Holloway, Puljujarvi, Shore, Niemelainen, and who was the last one? It was a
probably
light
not
turnout.
somebody who's
Ryan Murray was the last
Murray.
one, and then it was a very, very light turnout. So I mean, after last night's win, Dusty, I mean that's kind of the way it goes in the National Hockey League. You rest, recover. Saw a couple of guys. I'm not going to say who walking around the room. When the doors open, we were waiting for the availabilities with ice packs.
Okay, banged up a little bit. Yeah,
that might kind of give us an idea that they're a little bit nicked up and they're resting up and ready to go for tomorrow. So, it was very casual, very light today.
All right, let's summarize this homestand. 3-3. I guess here's how I would view it. 3-3 at the beginning of the homestand. If you told me the Oilers would go 3-3 on a 6-game homestand to start the season, I'd probably say, nah. Like, that's a bare minimum that they should probably accomplish, right? 2-4 would have not been a disaster, but it certainly wouldn't have been very good. I've seen this trip or this homestand described as, not pretty good, but good enough. And I guess that's the case, but I think the reason that we would view it that way is because they beat Carolina and they beat Pittsburgh. It's almost like how they got to this 3-3 record is what made it possible, I guess, to start the year.
That's a fair way to put it. But and then you look at the losses and you go, well, okay, they dug a hole against Calgary. They dug a hole against Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, too, yeah.
They dug a hole against Vancouver. And for a little bit there, everyone's going, what the hell is going on? And Buffalo, which is off to a very strong start.
Again.
Right now they are. Like, they had a very good start a couple of years ago and just fell off a cliff in November.
Was that last year or was it 2 years ago?
I think it was Ralph Kruger's last year. So 2 seasons ago. Remember they had like a really hot one of the nicest, most interesting people you'll ever meet. Such a good man. And, so Buffalo's off to a good start. But 3-3, yes, a win against Carolina. That was impressive. Yesterday's win against Pittsburgh was impressive. And then the home opener win against Vancouver, good to see the way they did it. They could have won the game against Calgary. They were close through everything, including the kitchen sink at the Flames. Dan Vladar, of all people, stood on his head.
They got done in by Vladar and Comrie and a few guys.
Yeah, Comrie playing in his first time in Edmonton as an NHLer. So it was adequate. Like, they got through it okay, and now they hit the road, and it doesn't get much easier. I mean, you get to see St. Louis and Calgary again, and then you sandwich it in with a game in Chicago that you have to win, but the Hawks are playing okay.
Yeah, the Hawks haven't been as, for lack of a better term, as shitty as I thought they'd be so far. I'm sure at some point their shittiness will emerge as they try to tank the season. But so far, it's been okay.
It is the evening.
Yeah, that is true. We can say the S word in the evening. It's a rule in the Boston Pizza Lounge, not till after 6 o'clock is when you can do that. Dylan Holloway. So you mentioned he was on the ice.
Yep.
What did Woodcroft have to say about his possible return?
Yeah, so I asked Woodcroft about him because we saw Holloway skate yesterday, and he's been around the team. He's been on the ice like the day after he got hit by Labushkin, and Woodcroft's response was he was very encouraged with Holloway. He thinks he's going to be back very soon. Had to check in with the medical team today. That's the protocol. Yeah. Sure. Right. But Holloway, I know that the word concussion did not get thrown around. I know the Oilers are tight with the roster and the cap, so they were careful not to use it if it wasn't officially a concussion. And so I heard like he had a gash on his nose. That was healing up. He busted his nose too on that hit. That was bothering him. But he looks like he was moving okay out there, Dusty. And if
where does he play? If you bring him back,
if he plays tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if they slide him in on the fourth line and just ease him in.
Well, he's only playing 8 minutes in the first couple games anyway, right?
Right. So. I think you know what, that first shift against Vancouver where he had that giveaway, that I think that sets him off on a bad path to start his NHL career, which sucks. But I think they're going to insulate him on the way back. They consider him an NHL player. If he struggles, then eventually they can send him down, and then he's going to be back up here in time. But I think they insulate him to start him out, and then they kind of see how he progresses as he goes along.
What if he gets back in, and they play him on a fourth line with Shore and Ryan or whatever? What if he just plays okay? Like, what if he's playing an okay, like maybe every second game looks like a pretty good 9 minutes? Like, what are you doing with him at that point?
My guess is if he's making things happen, using his feet, confident plays, tilting the ice a little bit, then they say, okay, let's keep it going,
Elevate him
nudge
up a
it
bit?
forward.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and because Fogle, Puljujarvi, and McLeod have looked good.
They have looked
good. And even
with
Derek Ryan up there instead of Puljujarvi, they got the goal yesterday. That was a nice play. So at least your bottom six is kind of clicking right now, so that's a good situation to put him into. Maybe that helps the bottom six take some of the weight from the top six away, take away a couple of minutes, keep those guys a little bit fresher, especially if McDavid's banged up. So it's a good problem to have, and they can mix and match and stuff. But Fogel's moving his feet. If Holloway jumps back in and he is not scarred by that hit by any means, I mean, that was a monster hit by Labushkin, who's known to pick his spots, then that's okay. So we'll see how it goes, Dusty, and I think this kid, the way he got up after that hit, like that takes balls.
Bounced back up. Yeah, he got absolutely demolished, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, he will likely not make that mistake again if Fogle throws him. If Fogle throws him a bomb up the boards, he'll probably have to take a little bit of a look at that moving forward. All right, I mean, the entire episode we're here at Boston Pizza in Sherwood Park, but let's officially get to your Boston Pizza appetizer. Of course, Appy Hour every day from 2 until 5, and then again from 9 until close. So you can swing on by, get some of those delicious cactus-cut potatoes. Spicy as all hell.
You know why, though? Because we asked.
Yeah, we figured out. It's a
jalapeno oil.
A jalapeno oil. That's what makes it so spicy. You'd never think that, but man, those tricky buggers. It's pretty good. All right, let's get to the most pressing question of the day. Who scores first, Kyler Yamamoto or Jesse Puljujarvi?
I think Yamamoto will.
Gotta be, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at some point he's got to convert. He had some great chances last night, and he just didn't click.
The play that McDavid got hurt on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how he bobbled that. That was tough. I think he needs to change the length of his stick, to be honest with you.
Did it work for the other guy?
I don't know what's worked. I mean, nothing's worked. Even you know what? Puljujarvi didn't play much last game, but in the third period, he did have that nice play by Fogle.
Yes.
Behind the net to get out front.
Yeah.
And he right here. He hammered. No, he got a decent chunk of it, but he shot it right here on the goalie. So Yamamoto had another great one-timer that he actually did finish.
Yes.
But I mean, whoever it is, whether it's Yamamoto up there because they like playing with him, or it's Jesse Puljujarvi because, Yamamoto, let's say Yamamoto doesn't score for the next 3 games. Maybe they bump him up there or whatever. Whoever's there has to contribute offensively. Like they have to.
At some point. Yeah. I mean, my goodness. The glorious chances they've gotten and not converted. And Yamamoto was the one who had the better opportunities last night, didn't convert. He's one of those guys that I might have seen with a bit of an ice pack
Oh,
somewhere.
no. Already banged up.
Yeah. And he's coming off of an injury to start here in training camp. And actually talking to Jay Woodcroft again today, one of the guys he went out of his way to talk about what he liked about their game was Kyler Yamamoto. The other guy was Derek Ryan. So if you want to hint as to where the coaching staff and Jay Woodcroft are at between Yamamoto and Puljujarvi, which is a bit of a contentious discussion right now.
At this point, though, but to me, at this point, it's not a discussion. I mean, based on their usage,
but you see
Kyler Yamamoto's playing 18 minutes a night for this team. They like him.
Yes.
Yes, the Puljujarvi's playing 10 minutes a night. I don't know how you can really compare the two from a production standpoint.
But
that's unfair.
We see the text. I saw it on the post-game show last night. I saw it with my tweets today when I showed that Puljujarvi was on the ice with the other guys, the other 4 skaters, and people are like, well, where's Yamamoto? Well, he's a little bit banged up still.
Yeah.
But Dusty, it always creates a debate. I mean, you see the text too, but this is an indicator as to how they value one guy and not the other.
All right, that is your Boston Pizza appetizer. Tommy, just duck for a second. Right here it says, ask about our beer flights, only $6 during happy hour. How cool is that?
That's magnificent.
Well-placed advertising right behind us here.
Like the sunset that we can watch from these windows.
This is by far the most romantic episode of the Oil Stream that we've ever done. All right, let's move along.
Oh boy!
All right, when do we see Stuart Skinner again? What do you think the plans for Skinner?
I'm guessing we'll see him on Thursday against Chicago.
Chicago on Thursday,
yeah. Stuart Skinner was doing the extra work, the backup goalie work today, and I'm sure you want to get Jack Campbell, who I think has made some brilliant saves, and I know his numbers aren't great, but he's been hung out to dry so many times.
He has.
Skinner's going to get back in there this week. He's going to get his start, and you know what? If he's pushing Campbell and he's playing well, that's a great problem to have.
It was brought up after he came into that game and played extremely well, and then he got the start. I know Rashog on our show was talking about, if he has a great game, are we pushing it? I thought, well, we might be pumping it a little bit too early. I mean, I think since then, it's been clearly identified. Jack Campbell's the 1, Stuart Skinner's the 2.
Yeah.
When Stuart Skinner gets his opportunity, does well with it, probably has to wait 2 or 3 games, get another one. That's what backup goaltenders do. It's as simple as that.
It is, and I don't think it's time yet for a goalie controversy. I think in time it'll happen, maybe some point later this season. I don't think so, but maybe a year down the road, 2 seasons down the road. But if they have a good tandem, these are 2 of the nicest goalies I've ever met in my life. Dusty, when you go around them, they're very polite, cordial. They thank you after you talk to them. You're like, what the hell's going on?
That's going too far.
That's going way too far. You're like, this doesn't feel right. Those other guys would just grunt at you to go away, and then the other guy would just kind of quietly go away because he was a weird Finn. Finns are fantastic people, but they just, when they don't know when, they just leap. And that was what the Finn did.
I don't want to, what day is it? It's October 25th. I think I might claim right now the Oilers aren't going to win the Stanley Cup because their goalies are too nice of guys. That's it.
You can't.
I mean, I feel like you got to have a little bit of a.
You need an asshole in net.
You got to have some ego in you.
Well,
I think between the fights.
It didn't work for the last guy.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he was 41,
that's
and
a really good point.
Mikko was a really nice guy. He just quiet Finnish guy.
Ryan McLeod. Now I think he's shooting at 60%, which is.
Nice.
But you know what? If you're ever going to have a run with a high shooting percentage, do it at the beginning of the year and get your confidence up through the roof right now. So he's played extremely well so far, especially for a guy that was kind of bounced down the lineup ever so briefly early in the season. He's been excellent on that third line. What's the biggest difference, or do you see a significant difference between Ryan McLeod last year and Ryan McLeod this year?
Yeah, well, first of all, he's shooting the puck.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's something that we talked about on this fine program many times last season, and even a little bit when he was getting looks the season before. Now his puck touches, and when he lugs it up the ice through the neutral zone, it's with confidence and a purpose. Whereas before, I think he had the speed, he had the hands, he was carrying it, but it always wound up with a tight turn in the corner, and an errant pass, or a play would just dissolve, or the puck would get held up in the corner. Now he's got a purpose. He's finding guys open. He's getting creative, and I think the confidence for him is definitely improved over leaps and bounds, or leaps and bounds in total. And so now, Dusty, we're watching a guy understand and realize that he is a NHL player and can make a difference on the ice. And in that bottom 6, that's fantastic. Is he going to stay on this pace? Maybe not.
And he's probably not going to shoot at 60%.
Right.
I don't need low tide to tell me he's going to regress to the mean on this one.
Oh.
60%.
That's math, right?
Somebody did the math on it and said if he shoots at 60% the rest of the year, he's on pace to score 48 goals.
Yeah, no.
So not going to happen.
If he gets 20, that's a phenomenal season from your third line center / fourth line.
With the way he's playing right now and
Yeah.
with what he's making, you can't complain. Can't complain.
And
Absolutely
the
terrific.
people that are worried about him cashing in next year if he has too good of a season.
Relax.
Yeah, they'll find the money to keep him.
Yeah, I would think they'd probably figure that out
Yeah.
at some point. All right, let's dive into Inside the Numbers for CoolBet. If you're looking to bet on the Oilers game, CoolBet's got all the odds up. Of course, we're doing this on Tuesday night. They play Wednesday and Thursday, so you'll be able to get probably watch for a pick tomorrow on the Lock Shop for the Oilers game with CoolBet. But Inside the Numbers, so this was brought to my attention earlier today. These are the giveaway leaders in the National Hockey League so far. The entire league. Number 1 is Leon Draisaitl. Number 2 is Darnell Nurse. Number 3 is Evan Bouchard. Number 8 is Connor McDavid. And number 9 is Evander Kane. So there are 5 Edmonton Oilers in the top 10 on giveaways so far this year. Now, you have the puck a lot. You're going to give it away. This group of Oilers, with maybe the exception of Bouchard, probably plays more than a lot of the other elite guys in the league. But still, as you head out on a 3-game road trip here, it's got to be concerning to see 5 of your guys in the top 10 for giveaways at this point of the season.
When I read off the game stats at the end of the night after a game, it's always Edmonton with like close to 20 giveaways,
20 giveaways,
and then the other
team's
team's
7,
got like 7 to 10.
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, that sounds about right. I mean, the eye test showed the same. Like yesterday,
there's no home bias on the giveaways here, apparently.
No, they're coughing it up. Like Draisaitl yesterday, I was sitting there between Gregor and Rashog, who, by the way, when I show up, they know my seat is right between them, but they like hog all my space in the press box.
You know what? They're
I
probably jealous of me right now because I'm doing a romantic oil stream with you tonight.
They might be. And I come in and I just put my little padfolio down. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very sorry. Bureau chief.
Whatever you
drive
are.
time, Gregor. And they're like, oh, sorry. Anyway, I looked at Rashog and Gregor when Draisaitl had that like spinorama behind the back pass at the blue line to nobody, and it like set the team back the other way. I was like, he's still doing it, boys. And Rashog's like, you know what? I really don't mind that one because it was pretty creative, and he just had the timing off. And I was like, shut up.
No, you do not do spin-around backhand passes at the offensive blue line.
No.
Okay? You know who can get away with that?
Tighten up.
Wayne Gretzky.
Even
He'd
got
spin
caught.
inside the blue line. He'd give those backhands far side to the far post to Yari Curry for tap-ins.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't work.
They have to look at. We talked about it. I can't remember which game it was, but one of the games on this Buffalo game, I guess.
Yeah.
It was the Buffalo game where we sat there after in the next episode of the Oil Stream and we're like, their puck play is so sloppy right now. And that has to get tightened up. It's as simple as that.
It has gotten a bit better, though.
Yeah.
The last couple of games, it has gotten better. But those instances, you're like, I don't think he makes that play in game 25 of the season.
Yeah, or in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you make it in the playoffs, that would.
I appreciate the creativity. He had a phenomenal game. He woke up in the second period, and he took over. So good on Leon Draisaitl.
He was phenomenal. That was by far, that was maybe like his season wake-up call.
Phenomenal.
Because Draisaitl had been, probably regular Draisaitl so far, right? Like nothing too special prior to when he took over for Connor McDavid when he went down. So
props for him throwing the Penguins jersey back. What a donkey move.
Let's talk about this Penguins jersey for a second. That's just a guy trying to get a video to go viral.
TikTok.
Because why in the world would a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, after a 4-0-1 start, throw a jersey on the ice? It makes no sense.
Stupid.
You know what it probably was? It was probably an Oilers fan being a dick.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
That's probably what it was.
Yeah. Because a nice waitress the other day told me about this garbage rat. It's a TikTok thing.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me about this.
Garbage rat.
It sounds like a place you get your hair cut. The way you say it, at least.
Describing somebody that's dumb.
A garbage rat.
Yeah, look it up.
So it's on TikTok
It's a very stupid TikTok.
Do I need to have an account for this, or can I just go on and
browse
browse like I usually do?
I had no idea what she was talking about. I get it now.
If I say garbage rat 3 more times, my phone's going to pick it up. Next time I go on TikTok, it'll probably pop up.
It's like this German guy describing somebody as a garbage rat. And these girls were like, yeah, if someone's an idiot, you call them a garbage rat. I'm like, I have to look this up.
2022, man. 2022.
I'm still living in 2020, I don't want to live there.
The Oilers road trip. They get St. Louis, they get Chicago, and then they get a bunch of garbage rats down in Calgary for the second installment of 3. What are your expectations for this road trip? Win 2? Got to get 2 here?
Yeah, get 2.
I think 2 would be good.
Yeah, I mean, they know what they're going to get from St. Louis. They just played them. Find a way to penetrate their defense. They got kept to the outside by the Blues. That was a grinding 1-goal game. I thought they played all right in that one. And, I think they have a chance at it. You have to win in Chicago. And then the Battle of Alberta, anything can happen. I expect the Oilers to not cough up a 4-1 deficit at some point in that game. Keep it a little tighter.
All right, so we've got that. Hey, before we wrap up, it's brought to my attention last night. I saw people on Twitter being like, I don't know. Should last night's game have been sold out?
Yeah.
Like it was 1,000 under a sellout last night, and that's sold tickets, right? So I don't know.
Okay.
Crosby's in town, but it's a Monday night. I don't know. Where do you come out on there being 1,000 empty seats there last night?
In theory, it should be sold out. All right? That's a premium game. You don't get to see these guys very often. They're in the twilight of their career. They're still very good. Malkin, Crosby, Letang. That's a good team.
And you'll get a lot. There's not many chances for Crosby to still come to Edmonton, like 4 or 5 times maybe?
Right. And every time the Pens scored, there was a loud ovation. There was a lot of Pens jerseys. They were that team in the 90s and early 2000s. That was everybody's second favorite team kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so in theory, it should have been sold out, but I'm not even sorry to say this. I like a lot of people at OEG. I worked there for a long time. They are gouging the shit out of the fans.
It's too bloody expensive, man.
It is. They're just they're outright gouging the fans.
Yeah.
And people are fed up.
I took my family we went to 2 games last year. One, a guy had given us tickets, which was great. Yeah. The other game we went to cost us almost $1,000 to go to a game. Like I fly my family somewhere for $1,000.
That's a Mexico vacation.
I mean, the tickets are crazy priced.
Yeah.
And the food is insane. I mean, food prices just simply don't need to be that high. So I thought, it's not like the crowd last night was embarrassing or anything.
No, it was good.
But you had Sidney Crosby versus Connor McDavid in Edmonton, and there was 17-3, which was the announced attendance.
Yeah, and listen, I know the economy and everything, and everything's going on. It sucks right now, but and inflation, all that. Yeah. But like I'm watching over the course of the last week and a half during this homestand, there's those 2 sections that have just monster chunks of empty seats right across from our press box. Yeah. And then I looked, I'm like, empty suite, back-to-back empty suites. I'm like, okay, people are they're at wit's end, I think, about
somebody
it.
texted into the show this morning and said there were 7 empty suites across from where he was sitting.
I was telling Awanik, who's sitting right there, and I'm like, look at that, empty.
I mean, I guess it's, you don't want to devalue your product by lowering prices.
No, of course not.
But at the same time, I mean, I don't know.
Now, really quickly, I know we got to wrap, but talking to Josh Getzoff, who does radio play-by-play for the Pens, he was asking how things were around here, and I was like, yeah, it's really expensive. And he goes, well, in Pittsburgh, they've dropped the prices. And some people
shouldn't have said that.
Hang on, but it's a thing. You don't. It's not a secret or anything like that. He's like, they dropped the prices, and some people thought, oh, the Pens must be hurting for ticket sales and all that. And they're like, no, it's just they realize that people are hurting in the economy down there, and they still want them in the building. They still want them eating, drinking, and buying merchandise.
Yeah, of course. That's where a ton of that money is, right?
Yeah, and that's a team that's been a premium team for 15 years now. If they can do it, why can't the Oilers? And I know the Canadian dollar, the Canadian teams are taking a hit right now. That might be part of it, but still, you're putting the burden on your fan base, and they're already
it needs to be that much,
at that threshold too. That's tough, man.
Well, I looked, and they just wrapped up a 6-game homestand. After I saw that attendance thing last night, I went and looked at and they're at like 91% capacity.
Yeah.
But that's 21st in the National Hockey League right now. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth.
I think just people, the prices are a lot, like you
pricey.
said.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's expensive to take it. Like the average family can't go to an Oilers game.
No.
Right? Like that's how it's priced yet. And I just can't help but come back around to, if the Eskimos never changed their name, that Oilers game would have been a sellout last night. So you've got that going for you as well.
You've been reading the inbox lately.
All right, that's going to do it for another episode of the O-Stream. A huge thank you to the folks out here in Sherwood Park on Y Road at the Boston Pizza location. Great lounge in here, man. It's nice. Got a little area over there for the VLTs, kind of off to the side. And, excellent. Right when you're coming into town on Y Road. It's just right over on, the left side if you're coming to Sherwood Park from Edmonton. So you can go and check that out. We will have another on location. I think we're going to be back in Edmonton on later in November, probably after Grey Cup. We'll have another live on location
You're busy.
for the Oil Stream. So, yeah, just a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I've got 32 minutes to sit down with you after and have dinner. So I'll have that coming up for you. That's going to do it for another episode of the Oil Stream. Tommy, we'll talk to you on Friday. Buddy.
All right. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Smash that thumbs up button. And these two garbage rats are out.